You're listening to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour with Blaze and Ken. And now, Blaze and Ken.
Hello there. Hi. Welcome to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. I'm Blaze.
I am Ken. How are you doing this week, Blaze?
You know what? It was a great start to the week, but something crazy happened here today where I live. I moved not too long ago.
Right.
I have these beautiful Palisade cliffs behind me, and there was a rock slide. And so yesterday it was very small, few rocks. Today, I'm sitting on the couch looking out the window because I was wondering why this one bird of prey has disappeared. Because there's a nest right there. The whole thing came down. The whole side of it like in it, I guess like 20 cars were were ruined.
Get
Like
out.
giant pieces of this thing because it's a tall cliff. So it just goes to show um, that little fence that they tried to put there does not tackle Mother Nature and the giant, magnitude of these cliffs. It was unbelievable.
That
So I
is
had to call the
insane.
police. Yeah, I had to call the police because I was the only one that witnessed it at first and had to call the building to let them know, hey, listen, you just had a bunch of cars get destroyed in your parking lot. Um,
Hopefully
but yeah,
yours
it
wasn't
was
damaged.
no, you know what? For once, I didn't park on that side, and yeah, I got really, really lucky for sure. So, how's
So
your
I
week been?
my week has been okay. Adjusting to a new aspect of my work, and
Okay.
commuting is interesting.
Hmm.
But no, everything's been pretty good. Normally this is where we kind of talk about the new stuff we're watching, but I still haven't hit anything yet with the new seasons getting ready to start to be really into anything. Um, 'Cause I mean, it's terrible to say, but I think one of the only things is my go-to guilty pleasure is watching Name That Tune with Jane Krakowski and Randy Jackson. Actually,
That's awesome. I always thought that I'd be pretty good at that show.
I
If I
am
was on
awful
that
at
show.
that show. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah. But it's harder now, though, because if you think about it, like, there there's so many songs that sound similar to those first couple notes.
it's true.
Maybe 25 years ago it wasn't like that, but I'm actually looking forward to speaking to our guest today. I had read something about something he said about Tupac and AI, and I
Yes,
can't
I
wait to
saw
ask
that
him
too.
about it.
Actually,
Yeah, and I
and I
know
know
that
you're
the
excited. You're excited about our guest today too.
I am, I am. So Milo Z is going to be our guest today, and I'm sure everybody knows him, but if you don't, Milo is energetic and fun. And I saw him one time last year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play a clip. But once you see this clip, you're going to fall in love with him. And I'm not going to tell you any more except just to play this clip. So hold on 1 minute.
Hey, Jocko, what you doing today, man? You going to school? Fuck that. Remember way back when you were 9 or 10 and decided to make a pact with you and your friend. You had this master plan, what you gonna do? Gonna go to the movies, yeah, instead of go to school. Damn, that was so much fun, wasn't worried about nothing. Least of all the classes that you was cutting. You come out the movie theater laughing, everything's fine. Until that truant officer catches your behind. Got you. He caught you, he caught you, he caught you. Playing
Wow.
Right? I mean, between the brass, the lyrics, his stage presence. I mean, my friend Scott was the one that introduced me to him in the first place, and that was literally me filming that particular song, playing hooky. He had so many great tunes, but I just felt the connection and the spirit. Had to like wait afterwards to meet him too, because I just thought he was so brilliant all around. Everything that he was doing was magnificent. So yeah, so let's wait no longer. And I'm so excited to welcome to the show Milo Z.
All
Hello.
right.
Wow.
Hello
Hello.
there.
Hey, hello, Blaze. Hello, Ken. How you
Hi.
guys
Hi.
doing?
Good, good. I was
Uh,
just telling Ken before you arrived that we had a landslide. I live
I
by a
heard. I
cliff.
was listening. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Like it was, I'm glad my car wasn't there, that's for
You
sure.
said that
But
that
it
was
was,
on the Palisades?
yeah, so I live in North Bergen and there's like the
Uh-huh.
cliffs that go all around and my this area actually right here, if it wasn't dark right now, you'd see them. I'd show everybody. But
Wow.
it's a giant cliff and I'm on the ninth floor. So I literally saw it when it started tumbling and it felt
Wow.
like yeah, I've been fortunate. I don't want to say it's fortunate or not because it's really cool to see it. But when I was in Yosemite, I also saw a rock slide. So
So
um
you were above it.
yeah, well, actually more same level.
Oh,
Maybe it was
okay.
like a little bit further up than me, but I was saying to Ken that there's a bird that I've been like watching forever.
Uh-huh.
It's a I don't know if you're a bird guy at all, but I've been watching this red-tailed hawk and I noticed that it
Okay.
left the nest like a couple weeks ago and
Oh,
now I know why because I guess it sensed
wow.
that it was coming. They have those
They
senses.
animals know. They
Yeah.
know. Watch the animals to
Yeah.
tell us all the natural disasters that are coming our way.
I
When you
know.
see the birds migrating earlier than normal, it's like
Yes.
might be time to go.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know,
exactly.
you mentioned that a hawk. Well,
Yeah.
I was born and raised on the Lower East Side. I'm still here, the East
Yeah.
Village. And there's the famous Tompkins Square Park
Yeah.
is like a few blocks away. There's hawks that live in that park, and there's avid bird watchers that are like there pretty much every day, just like filming the hawk and stuff. And they watch them, and they're pretty cool, and they've had babies, and they swoop down, and sometimes they get the pigeons, but sometimes they get the rats though. So
Now
they're
wait, I
helping
have to ask,
they're helping the community.
Is that Lola and Pale Male? Do you
Oh,
remember if
the
those are
the
the
names of
yeah,
the hawks.
yeah,
Oh, I'm ashamed to say I don't know. I don't know the
okay.
name.
No,
No.
because I just remember a story about Lola and Pale Male, and the people wanted to protect these hawks. They
Okay.
had the nests in I guess one of the buildings. I just wasn't
Uh-huh.
sure where exactly it was, but I wrote a kid's book, and we actually have Lola and Pale Male in there.
Oh, wow.
They
Oh,
give
that's
our little
so cool.
squirrel a ride, so, which
Nice.
would not be real in real life. So
No,
No.
you're a ride to
No.
the nest for the baby.
yeah, exactly. Exactly, exactly. So I want to know, first of all, how did you get into show business? Because there is just such a natural, easygoing, there has to be a story behind how you got into it as a kid or when you did exactly.
The way I got into music initially was I grew up in the Lower East Side, so I had a bunch of mischievous friends, my buddies, and we got into a little some things, and we there was a U-Haul lot behind my house, and we used to go and climb over the fence and go into this U-Haul lot, and we would do little petty things like get into the cabs of the trucks, and I mean this is when I was 13, mind you, and take the radios out of the trucks, try to sell them. Uh, Never really got anywhere with that, but one day we opened up the back of a U-Haul truck, and there was this set of practice drums. It wasn't a real drum set; they were practice pads, really. And there was a bunch of sticks, and we each grabbed like one of these. We unhooked it, grabbed one of these practice pads, took some sticks. Long story short, I brought it home. Mom was like, "Where did you get that?" I found it, Mom. Somebody threw it out in the alley. Yeah, you're always finding stuff, right? And I started beating. I was like, "Mom, I want a drum set," and of course she was like, "You always start stuff. You never finish stuff. I'm not getting you a drum set. Period. Point blank. Like, please, please." And I kept on banging on these things. And she said, "I'll make you a deal. We'll try to find a drum teacher or a school. And if you take lessons for a whole year, I will get you a drum set." And I was like, "Bet, I'm down." So I started going to Third Street Music School, which is pretty famous. It was on Third Street, the Hells Angels block, but it moved to 11th Street. Still called Third Street Music School though. Um, and I took lessons for a whole year, and true to her word, there was a kid in my junior high school who was selling a set of drums for like $40. This sparkle blue. It was called a Dia Deluxe. And for $40, I got a set of my mom bought me this set of drums. And that's how it started.
Wow.
What was the first song you played well
First
proficiently?
song I played. Oh, I couldn't tell you. I know that I used to practice with the radio. I'd have the radio by the drums in my
Yeah.
bedroom, and I would just try to whatever station it was. I just try to play to whatever that was on, and it
Yeah.
was pretty good actually because the most important thing for drummer is keeping time. So it was really a good way to get my timing together because you can really tell if you're playing with a track that a song that's on the radio. You have to be right on, and when you don't, I don't know if you know the expression, but it's called a flam. Like the snare hits on 2 and 4 usually,
Mhm.
boom, bap, boom, bap. And if you're not hitting the snare on 2 and 4 with the snare on the song, instead of bap, it sounds brap,
Yep.
brap. So it was pretty. That was pretty good. That I saw, but I couldn't tell you what the first song was. No.
Gotcha. Who
Yeah.
were your influences growing up?
As far as drums,
Well, just in general, who were your musical
oh,
influences?
I listened to everything. My mom's had a pretty extensive record collection, everything from like Billie Holiday to Janis Joplin to War to John Coltrane to classical. I didn't listen to the classical that much, I'll be honest, but the Beatles, of course.
Mhm.
I think the first record I ever got was a group called the Banana Splits. Is it, is it the Banana Splits?
Yes.
And it was na 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 na
Yeah.
na 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 na. It used to be a
Yeah.
kids TV show.
It
Of
was a TV
course.
show, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So that was that, and then I think the first movie I saw was Yellow Submarine.
So going back as a drummer, would you say that Ringo was one of the big inspirations?
I liked Ringo. I'm not saying I I really like John Bonham. John
Yeah.
Bonham from Led Zeppelin. That was
Yeah.
that
Oh
was my
yeah.
Mhm.
guy, man. He
Absolutely.
just his he was, you know what? He was funky too. He was a rock drummer,
Mhm.
but he was funky too.
Yeah.
And
I
and
mean,
and I'm all about the funk.
Yeah.
And John Bonham had that bass drum, boosh, bah, boom, 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 bah, boom. He just
he-
his drums were fat, and
Yeah.
I guess Jimmy Page really knew how to produce. I mean, he really knew how to produce. And I heard stories on how they used to record John Bonham. Like he would record at a faster speed and then slow it down. I don't know if this is true, but I heard different stories to help get that drum sound. But I think it was just John Bonham.
you know,
He
going back, it might sound a little cliche just because it's such an iconic song, but just the licks that he did in Stairway to Heaven, just
Mhm.
uh-huh.
ba-da-dum, bop, bop, ba-da-dum, bop,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
Definitely, definitely. So many songs, so many like just great drumming.
Yeah.
I never reached that level as far as like, you know, I was good. I could groove. I was a groove drummer.
Yeah.
I was never a John Bonham or a Ringo Starr, but I played gigs and for a while I made my living as a drummer before I, started my own thing and stuff. When I was about 17, I happened into this place called Dan Lynch's. It was a blues bar on Second Avenue between 13th and 14th Street, and it was on a Sunday, and they'd have a Sunday jam. And I was walking by, and I don't know what I was doing, but the door swung open, and out came this beautiful sound, and it was the blues.
Yeah.
And the dude at the door was like the bouncer. He was like, "You want to come in?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to come in." And it was a jam. Um, um, and I didn't sign up to play that day. There was like a list to sign up on the list. I just watched, and there was this drummer named Honey Boy Otis. If you get a chance, look him up. He's from New Orleans, uh, older black gentleman. I mean, he was older back then, So, and he was just so cool. He wore a brown suit. He had a toothpick in his mouth, and his pocket was just amazing. Could be wrong, but I think Dwayne Allman or Greg Allman bought him the drum set that he was playing. It was like a cherry wood Gretsch set, and he was just great. So I was just fascinated by him. He'd start off the jam with a band called Bill Dicey Band, and it was blues, and it was just awesome. And then like either the next weekend or the weekend after, Sunday, I went there and I signed up on the list, and I sat in for a couple of songs, and that was really the beginning of me playing out and playing with other musicians rather than like my friends going renting a studio somewhere in
Right.
Midtown and just jamming and smoking pot and thinking we're like Led Zeppelin or something like
Yeah.
that. Taught me a lot because I mentioned playing along with the radio, and you hear that flam. Well, I would sit in with I think I don't know who it was, and maybe it was Bill Dicey, and I'd play a couple songs, and I did all right in the beginning, but then he'd turn around and be like, "You're slowing down, son," So
Ah,
that taught me a lot, just how to play in the pocket, and that's what I became. I became just basically a pocket drummer,
Yeah.
not too
yeah.
flash. Yeah,
Right. Well, you mentioned the word funk earlier, and I know that there's a term that's synonymous with you, and that's the term Razumafunk.
that's it.
So I love that Razumafunk. So it's a combination of pop, rock, rap, rhythm and blues, funk, jazz,
That's it.
everything, right? It's
That's
like
it.
I love it. Now, who came up with that name, Razumafunk? I love it.
I came up with it basically because there was a song, I forget who sang it, but it was "Every Little Thing I Do Gonna Be Funky from Now On." Who was that? I don't know. Some of your viewers might know, but most of the stuff that I write comes out with a little bit of that funk influence. But I'll write a rock song. I'll write more of a rhythm and blues song. Sometimes a jazzy type song with the horns and stuff like that. So that's how I just came up with the name and that's how I came up with the name Razumafunk, because I really didn't want to be pigeonhole my music. Like it's funk. I do a lot of funk, but there's a lot of other elements to it.
Yeah, I can tell. I remember, seeing you live, and definitely it went all different genres.
Yeah,
And I loved when
yeah,
you brought the brass in,
yeah.
and you guys did, you moved in sync.
Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Nothing cool, baby. Without it, you get started.
I love that, and just the energy. Where do you pull that energy from? Do you do something before a show to just get there, or it's just you?
You know, it just happens like
Yeah.
really moments before going on. It like sometimes I don't know, I'm getting older. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna be tonight. And then it's just like, yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, I'm tired or whatever. And then you get on stage and that energy just kind of hits you, the audience and the music,
And the
so
music.
yeah. Um and it's a show. It's a show. It's not just music to listen and close your eyes to. It's a visual show. you
Yeah.
know I'm a big James Brown has been a big influence on me. Sly Stone, and but James Brown in particular, he I mean, he would just wow you.
Yeah.
So the dancing, of course, is a big part of it. Um, the dancing, I try to get my band choreography. I use a lot of different musicians. So some of the newer musicians, sometimes they're not quite in step with the other guys just yet. Sometimes it takes time. So you might see, like, one night you might see me and the whole band's going left to right, left to right, and one guy's going right to left, right to left.
Yeah.
You're like, that's a new guy. Yeah, but they're all killer musicians. So it's
Yeah.
weird. Some guys pick it up, the steps just like that, like it just comes natural, and other guys, it's like I'm teaching them to walk. It's true. It's really funny. It's like you don't know who it is too. It's like, man, this guy. I would think this guy can move, and it's like, yeah. Actually, a friend of mine, this guy Chucky Hancock, Raven, uh, horn player that I've known for decades. He wrote a song, and I just talked to him about this song. It was called Two Left Feet. It was an
Mm.
instrumental called Two Left Feet. So shout out to Chucky Hancock, Seton B. Hancock the third, Raven. My man just had his horn stolen while he fell asleep on the train.
Oh
Oh,
no.
But
no.
there was so, yeah, but he reached out on Facebook. He said something like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. In a week, everybody donated. He got another horn, so he was showing a lot of love. So,
Wow.
that's a really good ending to that story right there. So, but he wrote
Yeah.
this song called Two Left Feet, and sometimes, like, I might have a musician and like he plays in the pocket and everything, but when it comes to dancing, it doesn't come natural.
Let me ask you actually, because we're talking about how energetic you are on stage and how theatrical and how big everything is with you on stage. What's one of the craziest things to ever happen to you on stage?
I was doing I was doing this show in Greece, in Athens, Greece, and I actually was recording that night. It I was headlining this big outdoor amphitheater. It was called La Cavitos, and we were it was a great night. A lot of people, and we did like a 3 hour show, and it was about 2 hours and a half into the show, and I got everybody off stage. And then people were like, they wanted that encore, so they're yelling Milo, 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 and this Greek, and I'm gonna call him a malaka. I don't know if you know that word, but that means like jerk in
Yeah.
Greek. Jumped on stage, and so my plan was to come out just myself, and start doing audience response, call and response
Yeah.
by myself, just like, say yeah, whatever it is, back and forth, and sing certain things that have them sing back. Don't you know this guy jumped on stage, grabbed the mic. Oh, and I have this song called Body, and he started going, Body, 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 body. He was drunk. I don't know what he was, but nobody took him off stage. Nobody.
Oh, no.
And you know what? He was funny, so the crowd was laughing, but
Right.
I wasn't laughing. And
No.
and and then I was like, there was a security guy. I was like, get that motherfucker off the stage. And he was like, and I said, get him. So he goes out and he says, come on. He's like, body, and he takes the mic and he puts the security guard. The security guard goes, body, and then he got him off stage finally.
Oh my
So
gosh.
so I was recording that night and filming, and I put it out on a CD, DVD called Up on the Hill in Athens, Greece, because the Greeks call that, it's the highest point in Athens. They call it the hill. And I actually put that part on the disc. It's a live CD, and I put that, and it's called Malaka, I think. I gotta look at it. I think it's called Malaka. And it's him doing that damn thing. And then, don't you know, like a couple years later, I was back in Greece, and he came to a show. And he was like, oh man, I'm not a Malaka. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, who are you? I was like, I was the guy I said, you are. I grabbed him around the neck. I was like, you are a Malaka. I gave him some nuggies and stuff like that. I was like, I was so mad at you back then, but
Yeah.
I used it and I put you on the deck, and you're
That's
immortalized as a Malaka forever.
That is
That's
hysterical.
maybe one of a crazy thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I
definitely.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, so this week the writer strike is ending. I don't know if you saw that
Yes.
they've come up with a deal. It
Yes.
looks like it's going to head in the right direction.
Yes.
So I had read somewhere that actually I saw a video, and it was regarding You mentioned
AI.
Tupac and AI. Yeah. So
Mhm.
let's get into a little bit just because we've talked about AI on the show before, and
Yep.
we're probably on the same page as you. But
Uh-huh.
what are your thoughts there? And tell us about the song that you had heard with
So
from Tupac.
absolutely. So I mean, I keep it, like we're all hearing about this AI and how it's going to affect us in so many ways. And with the actors, I don't know too much about it, but like I think if you sign something, they take your image and then they can use your image forever, and
Hmm.
then you're not getting paid, but it's
Yeah.
your image because you're computer generated.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
just messed up. So I think that has to do with part of the writers' strike and the actors' strike. I think the actors are still on strike. They're trying to.
They are. Yes.
That's the last part of it. So
Mhm.
so me being a musician, of course, I really wasn't thinking too much about it, and then I came across this video on YouTube, and I'm probably going to promote it now by saying it, but it was Tupac Shakur 2023 new music with Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg, sings on a lot of
Yeah.
arm rap tracks and stuff like that. So I
Hmm.
checked it out, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't bad. That's the messed up part. Wasn't bad. The grooves was nice, and it was Tupac's voice, but it wasn't Tupac. It was AI. It was Tupac's voice, and he was rapping just like it was 1995, 96 before he died. Like the same type of stuff. I mean, it was like if you took all of his lyrics and you just stole this from here and here and here and put it
Hmm.
together and made a Tupac song. I don't know if the producer I don't know if the computer generated those lyrics from past lyrics or the producer wrote the lyrics. That might be give him a little bit more credibility, but still, it's not Tupac writing the lyrics. But it's like songs you've heard Tupac do before,
Right.
and the voice sounds just like him. And Nate Dogg was singing the choruses, and he sounded really good. And I just think it's fucked up as hell, man, because on a few different levels. Because first of all, who knows if that's what he would have wanted,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That maybe he would have. Maybe he's hey, it's I don't know, but that was not that's he sounds like he did in 1995, 96. It's like 3 decades later. Do you think 3 decades later he would sound just like he did in 1996? Like he wouldn't have evolved, his music wouldn't have evolved, maybe he
Right.
wouldn't even have been into music, maybe he would have been you know a leader for the people or something, because that's where I really thought he could have went. you know I have a problem with it. Next it'll be David Bowie, a song
Yeah.
like they'll listen to Major Tom, and they'll just take his voice, and it'll be, and the comments in the Tupac video, like I was reading the comments, and they're like, oh, it's so good to hear his voice again, and it gives me chills down my spine. I'm like, you're getting chills from a computer, bro. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
it,
That's
Elvis,
it's
we
not
should
like
listen to
it's
Elvis again. New I don't know.
yeah.
well, yeah, but I'm gonna say it's not like it's like Prince who had like a million hours of material in a vault somewhere that's coming out again finally,
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
right. And Tupac did have a lot of material. Like there was a lot of, at least a few records got released, posthumously.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but like you said, Prince, we're gonna be thankfully hearing his music for the next 50 years, man. At
Yeah.
least. Um, but who's to stop somebody? I'm sure the Prince's state. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's. I think it's messed up. I
Yeah,
think.
it's hard too because I like and Ken will disagree with me on this because he liked the movie, but Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe movie that was
Oh,
Okay, I
the
didn't see
latest
it.
one.
Okay.
So I'm a classic Marilyn girl. Like I loved old those old classic movies, that
Yes.
era.
Yep.
Sometimes I feel like I was born in the wrong era.
Uh-huh.
But Marilyn and Rita Hayworth and all of those gals. Um, but this take on it, eh, this newer version of it, I don't think Marilyn would have loved too much.
Okay.
Um, and so I feel like it's the same thing with movies when you're doing a biopic, using her name, using it. It wasn't like they said it was like a caricature of her or somebody that was pretending to be her, like they were saying it was her. And yeah, and but not, it wasn't factual,
Oh,
most of it. So,
oh,
so that's the part where people who are, if you're not a smart consumer of television and music, same thing. Like, I don't know if Nate Dogg is alive or dead or not. I don't even know who,
yeah.
I mean, I
No,
know who he
he's
is.
gone
I know
too.
the
He's dead
name.
too. Yep.
Yeah. So to have, both of them, kind of somebody that maybe is a teenager that doesn't even maybe know who Tupac is or
Right.
Nate Dogg, and then they're thinking that they're alive or that this is their new music.
Right. Oh, right.
It's
Right.
scary. It's
Right.
scary.
So, or they're just discovering Tupac,
Yeah.
and they're discovering maybe his old stuff, but then they hear, oh, I just heard a great new stuff he just put out last year, and it sounds great, and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But there, you know what? I'll put a flip side to it, and I don't know
Yes,
how you feel
please.
about it, Milo. Blaze, you might appreciate it a little.
Yeah.
Me being a film buff too, growing up an '80s kid, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I still am.
Okay.
Edward J. What's his name? Darth Vader. James Earl Jones
James Earl Jones.
just signed over his voice to Disney
Did he?
before all this happened. Yeah, he gave consent for his voice to be used as Darth Vader for the rest of the time.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
Yes, he's
Oh,
very much older now, and I'm
right.
wondering if part of it is because maybe there's something going on that we don't know, but with
Wow.
him health
Well,
wise,
maybe a
but
lot of
That's
money
interesting.
too.
But at
Could be
could
a
be
least
lot of
money
he
too.
gave
money.
his consent, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
He gave
but
his consent just to be computer generated. Is that what you're saying?
correct for his voice to be used after he's gone. Because
Wow.
there's so much audio of him, and he's
Uh-huh.
recorded so much in his career
Uh-huh.
that it can now be synthesized
Uh-huh.
moving forward.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, for a fan being a Star Wars fan, knowing that the
Uh-huh.
idea of Darth Vader is going to live on forever is
Right.
actually kind of cool. I mean, also given that he gave his consent to do it,
Right.
but
Right.
like that, but that's a cool kind of positive thing for fans with
Yeah.
this technology.
That one I got to think about. I might not have a problem with that one either because one, first of all, he gave his consent, and he is the voice of Darth Vader, this character. It's not like he's saying you can use the James Earl Jones, like Tupac was Tupac. You
Right.
know, you can't just say this is me. This was a character, and his voice was iconic in that character, and that's who I want to hear is Darth Vader. I don't want to hear anybody else. You
Right.
know,
Right.
and if I do hear somebody else, they're basically mimicking him.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
what is he going to start sounding like Joe Pesci all of a sudden? So so
Could you imagine Joe Pesci with that
that would
breathing?
be that'd be pretty funny.
I know. I'd love that. I know. So I mean, the debate continues on, of course, but
Right, but
you know,
that's a good point. That's a little different.
but I think that that's what they're trying to get to and I haven't seen the writers, all of the information that they've given to what's going to be approved. I think if you do give consent, if it's something that you're paid for and you've given consent, but if they can't just take it just because you sign a contract and then and it's your likeness and it's your, especially for people, like they're trying to do away with extras as well. If
Right,
they just take an extra and they're a lot of those actors that are just how do you start? You start as an
right,
extra.
right,
That everybody has a beginning somewhere. You don't just
right,
start as a lead. I mean, some of us are lucky that you started with a bigger role than maybe you thought you would, but at the end of the day, like most people do,
right.
have to go the route of extra work and stand-ins and all sorts of things. So
That's right.
I just hope that that the guilds are being smart, and
Right,
obviously this technology is not to be negatively looked at as a whole, I mean,
Mhm,
technology is technology. It's always gonna, we're always gonna go to that next level. And
mhm.
I love the fact. So I'll give you a quick little story. My mom is in a facility right now. She's been in the hospital and in a rehab, and the insurance had me every day. Basically, they were making me put an appeal letter in. Well, guess what? I could go AI, write me an appeal letter with this information, and it came up within 2 seconds. So, I mean, in that
Oh,
case, I so
okay.
appreciated AI.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Because it would have taken me hours to do that. But instead, I mean, I had still had to know the information I was going to put in
Uh-huh.
there, but I did do some testing too of like writing a song and putting the information in and seeing what it came up with. It does rhyme scheme. It can do a lot of different things. I
Uh-huh.
just worry that we're going to get lazy with our creativity in our brains,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
that's for me writing a letter, no, that's not really lazy, that's smart.
Right.
But when it comes to, other things that are creative, uh, we'll see what happens. That's yeah.
It's yeah. First of all, I'm sorry about your
Oh,
sister.
thank you.
I've been through similar stuff,
Thank you.
unfortunately. Yeah. My concern, and I mean, it might be what it's going to be, is that you're just going to push a button, boom, and you're not going to do any creative thing, or whoever is going to do it, and the computer is just going to create something that sounds like Uptown Funk, Bruno
Yeah.
Mars, because that's what's hot. So we're not even stealing his voice. We're just stealing the formula. We just put it together and we get an AI generated voice,
Yeah.
some voice, put it out. We create a pop star who really doesn't exist. We can
Right.
create an image now, right? You show the videos, this to show the videos, and then people are just grooving. And you know, that I might be inevitable.
Yeah.
What they can't do, and they can do it to some degree. Like, believe it or not, years ago, it might have been 10 or 15 years ago, I think Snoop was doing a show, and they had a hologram of Tupac,
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah.
they had
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I
They
heard
had
about that.
they had him rapping. It was Tupac's lyrics, Tupac's voice with the duet he did with Snoop, and they had his hologram on stage, and people were like going crazy, but it was kind of creepy, truthfully, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so they're already starting with that, but they could create a whole, AI pop star, create the music, create what they look like, and the kids might just dig it, and that might
Yeah.
just and there might be an audience, and there's just no way to stop that. But hopefully that will not like extinguish everything else, like live music and
Right.
live bands and stuff, and people will really want to see. That's the great thing about live shows, and for instance, my show, I never write a set list.
Oh,
You're not going to see the same show twice. I don't. You're not going to hear the same songs in the same. Sometimes I might start off the night with a song that I'm comfortable with because
yeah.
I just know it gets me into the groove. But I don't know one song from the next. I read the audience and I read the vibe of the room and I read how the band is gelling and how it feels, the dynamics. I'm very hands on like that, and I just don't. I don't make set lists. It doesn't matter how big the show is. I don't make a set list.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
And it's more organic
I,
that way.
I think you're, I
So
Yeah.
think I think you're the first artist I've ever heard actually say that before.
yeah, it doesn't work for me because I feel I might write the perfect set list. This is such a great order of songs, but you know what? I got the second song is like so amped up and energetic, but then I'm looking at the crowd and they're just finishing their food
Yeah.
and, and they're just having their first drink. They're
Yeah.
not ready to get up and freaking
Yeah.
mosh pit, you
Get
know.
on up.
They're not ready. Let them burp a little bit and stuff like that. So I was like, let me ease on into this and stuff. Because you cannot predict just the way
Yeah.
things are. And it works much better that way because like then it's more about what you feel in the moment. Because if you got a set list and say your dog died earlier that day and you still got to do a show, you might
Mhm.
not want to be singing "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I love that.
The show goes on though, but
Yeah, of
you know what I'm
course.
saying. Yeah,
That means that you have to have a lot of faith in your musicians then to be ready for,
absolutely,
whatever comes
absolutely.
next.
Absolutely. I do a lot of cues, visual cues. They all have meanings, like
Yeah.
if I do this, if I put up three fingers, that's like hit me three times. But
Mm.
if I put it like this, now this is if I put it like this to the side,
Yeah.
that means I need three-part harmony. Harmony. Three-part harmony. If it's like
Ah,
this is unison. We sing in unison. If I put
yeah,
it up here, that means hit me one time.
yeah,
See, my musicians got to know they can't mix it up, you know.
Oh
So
yeah,
wow.
it's a lot of, and I use different guys, so there's a lot of, you know, you when you're at a show, there will be mistakes. You will see some mistakes, but you also see some live stuff happening.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's the beauty of a live show versus that's what we were talking about, theater versus film.
right,
Theater's always going to have that
right,
place of, in the moment and anything can happen and it
right.
usually does.
Right. The
So
timing may be a little different than the night
yeah,
before. Your line, you might have delivered your line, and the line that you got a big laugh the night before, crickets. You
right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah, totally get it. And
and
somebody
then
could run
yeah.
up on stage and try to take
Oh,
your
Yeah.
moments.
right. Yeah, yeah.
What was the
I,
word you
I
said?
just thought of another crazy. It wasn't that crazy.
Tell us,
It
tell
was,
us.
there's a guy. What the hell was he doing? I I think he grabbed the mic. He grabbed the mic and then he was still in the front of the stage. I don't know exactly. It was a long time. I don't remember, but I give him a little pop on the head with the microphone, and it made a big sound. It was like boom. He was all
No,
right. It wasn't.
no, wait, but tell everybody how tall you are, because 'cause you're a tall man.
Yeah, I'm 6'2", but
Yeah.
but I don't think that had really any. It was just a little from the wrist. It was just a little.
No, no, but I mean, like, anybody that tries to come take the mic from a very tall guy, it's like,
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I didn't have the mic in hand at the time.
"Oh,
I think. I think what happened was I was either off to the side of the stage or something. Uh, One time, a drummer who used to play with me. So a lot of times, not a lot of times, most of the times, my band does either one or two instrumentals before I come out on stage. They
yeah,
play, and then I come out. This drummer who was playing with me, his friend was in the audience. A rapper, his rapper buddy. They're doing the instrumental. He jumps on stage and starts rapping. Yeah, and so back in the day, I was really into James Brown. I still am, but I don't know if you know, but James Brown used to fine his musicians sometimes, like
mhm,
for crazy stuff. Like if the shoes weren't signed, he'd look over at the shoes when he comes out, 5, 10, 15, and that would be off of your check at the end of the week or
ah,
whatever. And he would fine you for missing notes and stuff like that. Well, in the beginning, I learned a lot from James Brown how to conduct a band, and that was one of the ways, like lateness, tardiness. I would fine
mhm,
you for that and stuff. But I ended up finding that drummer for letting his. Why you find me? I said that's your friend.
yeah."
You're in control of your friend. Got on stage and got the microphone. So I fined him like $20 out.
Good
Yeah,
for you. Good for
yeah.
you. Little jar. It's instead of
That
cursing,
was
it's like all
ridiculous.
the mistakes go in that jar.
Yeah,
That's right.
that drummer, I'll put it out there. Swiss Chris, musicians
Swiss
might
Chris.
know him. He's a good drummer, good guy. I haven't seen him in years, but anyway.
That's amazing. Well, listen, one of the things that we like to do on the show is get to know our guests a little bit better. So we're going to do a rapid fire of questions and see what you come up with. So
Okay.
I'm going to go first. Are you a caller or a texter?
Both,
Okay.
both.
I was actually watching Get On Up.
Uh huh.
What was it? What was it working with Biz Markie?
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. I mean, um, I met Biz through my manager at the time. We had both had the same manager at the time. Um, I was a big Biz Markie fan before I even had my own band. I was listening to early hip hop, Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah.
LL Cool J,
Yep.
Mm.
Cool Mo D,
Yep.
Biz Markie, Rakim, and KRS-One. Those
Oh
were
yeah.
those were those were my guys. Um, and I used to, in the band I was with playing drums with. I remember we would go on these little tours out in the Midwest, and we everybody got to put in tapes in the van, and I played Biz Markie, and they were not feeling it. They were like, but I loved it. He was so funny, but I liked his rhythms and stuff when he rapped. Um, and he was basically the court jester of rap. You know,
Right.
he provided that fun, entertaining thing. So, long story short, we had the same manager, or I was with my manager, and then one day I came into his office and I saw either Biz's photo or his CD, and I was like, "Oh, you know Biz Markie?" He was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna start managing him." I was like, "Oh, awesome!" I said, "Man, he's great. He's great." He said, "Really? You would like to meet him and stuff?" Like, I'm a big, huge fan. So the next time I came in the office, Biz was there, and they were playing something off of the record that I was gonna put out. And Biz gave me the nicest compliment. He said I sound like Joe Williams, the jazz singer.
Okay.
And I was like,
Great
wow,
compliment.
Joe Williams. Like, yeah, he knew a lot about music. He
Hmm.
Unfortunately he passed away like a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just saw a documentary on him. It was pretty good. But he was the nicest guy. So I was creating this record, Get On Up, and I had a rap break in the record that my bass player usually raps on. But Biz Markie was down to like do something. So we took out Joe's rap, and Biz came to the studio. It was Chung King Studios down in south of Manhattan, and he laid a couple of verses, a couple of different takes, killed it, and left. And that's how he ended up on the Get On Up track. And when I say he was the nicest guy, I really mean. I've only met him a few times. I met him at my manager's office. I met him, well, of course, when he came to the video shoot, when we did the video for Get On Up. And one time, me and my bass player were in the bank. We had just gotten our first decent check, right? I think it was like, I don't know, $10,000, right?
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed to say this. I was 30 years old and I had never had a bank account. I had never had a bank account. Everything I did before was off,
Yeah.
off the books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we're like going to this bank. I think it was called Marine Midland. It was up on the Upper West Side where my manager's office was, because I had just gotten a check. And Biz was in the bank. And me and my bass player, he was also another guy. We had to like search for his social security to get him an account so we could put the money in the bank and get the money out and just start a bank account. This is the first time I started a bank account. So we're filling out this stuff. And then the lady said, you can't stand here. You got to go back, go fill it out and then come on back. So we filled it out and then we get on the back of the line. And Biz is like, no, man, you don't have to stay here. You go right back up to the front. You go right back. So he like helped me cash my first check, really. And it was so nice. It was just he didn't have to do that, man. He was just a cool dude.
Very
That's awesome.
apropos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to play a
R.I.P.
clip of that video right now. So here it is.
All right.
Mr. Biz Markie. Hey, it's me, the original B.R.Z. M-A-R-K-I-E with the Milo Z. Now I like to get on down with the sound, and I'm the talk of the town. Now we're getting down with a sound that you like. The original King Swing do it on the mic. That's why I like to do it like this. You got to get up to date. it rain.
All right. So I want to know if you wrote romance novels or erotic fiction, what would your surname be? What would your pen name be?
Oh man. I ain't giving that any thought. Jeez.
Oh, I got mine.
Yeah, what's yours?
Yeah, what's yours, Ken?
Richard Longfellow.
There you go.
There you go. I figured maybe
Richard
something with the
Longfellow the
Z.
12th,
Yeah.
not the third.
No.
I was thinking
Um,
maybe it would be something with a Z.
with a Z.
Yeah, like not make it too
Oh,
obvious, but
yeah. All
Zen
right, let's just
something.
go with Zorro.
Zorro. All right. I
Go with
like it.
Mil-
Zorro.
Milos Zorro.
That's it.
Milosh.
There you go. Milos. Go back to the whole Greek thing.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Has been anything in your life that you haven't been able to tackle yet that you really want to?
Oh, lots, lots, lots. Um, tackle or accomplish? Are they the same
Accomplish, yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Accomplish. Eh, I wouldn't mind a hit record, man. I mean, I still wouldn't mind a hit record, and I don't write, like, I'm not writing to make a hit record. I'm just writing stuff that I really dig and I think is happening. And I think they're going to be, I think they're hits, whether they become hits or not, but I think they're pretty hit worthy. Um, yeah, that's one. Other things, hmm. I've been writing. I wrote a book. It's basically I just put out a song. It's called "The Tales of Flaco Blanco." It's a very autobiographical song. It's a rap song. By the way, after drums, I went into rapping first before I started singing and doing funk. I wrote a rap song first, and that's how I started. Um, so it's called "The Tales of Flaco Blanco," which means Flaco Blanco, skinny white, and Puerto Rican kids used to call me Flaco Blanco in the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. So the song is very autobiographical. I basically wrote a book about growing up in the LES, discovering music and things like that, and just all the craziness, which I haven't put out yet. And then I've been working on, but I've really been procrastinating. I have on putting it into a one-man show, like a one-man show where, yeah, it's just telling stories, and then maybe intermittent with some music. Me just playing. The computer is actually sitting right on top of the cajon right now. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, the cajon is a box. It's like a wooden box that that you
Yeah.
can play.
Yep.
So I was thinking maybe I would sing and this and that. I wrote a few stories, and then yeah, I got to get back to that. So that's something I hope I finish it, and I hope I tackle that and just put the work in, and just do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Milo, after meeting you today, I really want to see this show now that you're talking about it and
Hmm.
presenting it. I'm really interested.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So please finish it.
Oh, see that show, not just the music show. Oh, cool, man. Yes, I'm going to try to keep working on it, man. I've been procrastinating a little bit, but I gotta get off that. Yeah.
Speaking of shows, I know that uh,
Uh huh.
www.fanoon.us, it's
Uh huh.
in Brooklyn.
Yes.
It's on Sutton, right? In Brooklyn?
It's on 100 Sutton
Yeah.
Street in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And we're playing this Thursday, uh, starting at 9. I think that's right when this
So
interview's
it's
coming
exactly,
out.
yeah, because we pre-recorded this one so that we could get you here, because you have a show on
That's all
Thursday.
right.
So
So
listen, you
it's a
can
new
go to
venue.
the show,
Yeah,
go to the
yeah.
show, and
If
then you can
you
watch
watch it,
this
you watch
later.
it a little bit, and you can still catch that last second half or something. Yeah, it's a new venue. I'm psyched about it, and then I have some shows coming up in October. I'll be back at the Red Lion on I think it's the 11th, Tuesday the 11th. That's in Bleecker Street, and I'll be playing a Halloween kind of B-Day show. My birthday's in October. Uh, on Friday, October 27th, back at the Cutting Room where that video you
Oh,
played.
yes, I loved Cutting Room,
Back at that
yes.
venue, October 22nd is
Okay.
on and popping because it's a Halloween funky B-Day bash show.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Nice, that's gonna be
That's
awesome.
in that's in Manhattan in New York City. And on
Yeah.
the 28th, I'll be in Stanhope, New Jersey at a place called the Stanhope House on that Saturday, the 28th of October. Yeah. I'm working on some new music right now. I'm in the studio. I'm working on a few cuts and I'm really excited about them. And I've been the last couple of things I put out, I've been doing some collaborations. I did one with Harvey Morris, a great singer drummer that I've known for about 30 years. I went to Europe for the first time with him, and we put out a song called "Calling Out," and that was during 2020 when everything was shutting down and COVID and people were scared. And then that summer George Floyd happened. And I made a video for it. Check it out, Calling Out. And it's like a capsule in time of the year of 2020 in New York City. And it's a
Mm.
great message. It's a great message in that song. And then I put out another song with another collaboration with Franco Casio, great guitar player. Used to play with a band called The Authority, who was big in the 90s. And we put out a song called New York City's Burning. It's a similar thing. It's a different vibe. It's about people fleeing New York, during COVID, like just moving, hightailing it out of the city.
Right.
So check out that. We did a video for that as well. And right now I'm recording a couple of new songs. One's called Ghetto Beatdown. It's basically about maybe ending potential if potential violent situations with guns and people getting killed, to just, how about you just put up your dukes and you might take an L, but you both live to tell and nobody ends up in a cell.
Mm.
So that's what that song's about, Ghetto Beatdown. It's not about condoning violence or promoting violence. It's just like, instead of going to the gun, why don't you just handle it that way if there's got to be some kind of beef, you know? And that song I'm working on with a great singer. She sang the chorus, the Uptown Boogie Down soulful queen, Trey Danya.
Mm.
And she's singing the chorus, and it's going to be killer. And we did that song. And we did another song called Gone Away, which is a ballad, like I'm leaving you, baby type ballad. And I never did a ballad with I've never recorded a ballad with anybody, female, male, anything, but where it's kind of like, we're back and forth trading
Yeah.
verses and stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about it, and I should have that out in the beginning of the new year. Yeah,
Cool.
I'll
Awesome.
probably put out singles. I'll probably put out Ghetto Beatdown. And then I have another song I'm recording called Old School Love. This is basically about that. It's basically just treating your lady with that old school respect, opening the door, walking on the outside of the sidewalk, holding her hand, listening to her when she talks, things like that.
So the last question that we ask all of our guests is if you could give a piece of advice to someone who is starting out in this business, wanting to be a performer and a singer and emulate you, what's your piece of advice for them?
What would be my advice to upcoming artists is basically just do you, don't chase a trend. And if you are chasing a trend, you better be up on the latest technology and be able to get, like, if there's a certain sound, like, and I'm talking pop, I guess, or whatever. It could be hip hop, it could be whatever. And if you are chasing a trend, know what's popping right now, and know how to work your social media stuff really well, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Is you're gonna it's going to attach to whatever's happening right now. But that's not what I would suggest. I would suggest just be yourself. If it sounds good to you, if it feels good to you, if you like the way this sounds, then go with it. Don't chase what you think is popping. That's my advice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing.
This has
And
been fun. Thank you so much
yeah,
for contacting me, and give a shout out to Scott too.
yes, absolutely. Hey, cheers. Cheers to Scott Stram.
Cheers.
Scott and
Ken,
I met.
Blaze.
How do you know Scott? So did Scott come to your shows and you know him as a fan, or
Yeah.
you know?
He used to come back in the day. I can't remember exactly
Yeah,
where or when exactly, but and then he hit me up and we played like a party for him a while. I think you were there. Maybe that's where we
yeah.
met. But
Was that the
yeah,
Halloween party or a different party
I don't
at
remember.
the mansion?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It was in the West Village, I think. It was in the West Side, like about the meatpacking district or something like that.
Yeah, so it's funny because Scott and I met going to a school teaching. It was the performing arts high school, and
Oh,
we were telling the students. It was career day, basically. We were telling them what we do for a living, and it just so happened that he and I were put together because I'm on the entertainment side, but also had written a book, and he had written a book, and so we had met, and then he became my entertainment lawyer for a short time. So if you need a
wow.
good entertainment lawyer, Scott Stram,
Look at that.
he's the guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was, and he just has this love of music. And then we wrote a movie together that Ken
Oh,
actually had
nice.
a little feature in.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So it's just funny how the 6 degrees of separation works,
Beautiful.
and it's always good to to keep meeting new people and helping each other because that's what
Yep.
this business is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. Well, thank you so much again,
Great
Milo
talking with you
Z.
guys, for real.
I
Yeah,
look
same
forward
here.
to I'm
Same
gonna
here.
try to make it to the October show, at
Yeah.
Cutting
Awesome.
Room. I
It's
love
gonna
that
be
venue
fun.
too, and
Yeah.
that sounds like it'll be fun. Maybe it's
Oh, and
even accosted.
I'm gonna have Trey Danya on that gig.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
know, this is I've only done a few shows with her. We did some casinos, and I think I played Ulysses. We did a show at Ulysses, but most of the times we haven't done a real New York Friday, Saturday night debut with Trey
Yeah,
Danya. So it's something special, definitely. It adds
I
a whole
can't wait.
another element. Yeah, for
That's
real.
That's
gonna be
awesome.
amazing. Cool. Well, thank you so much again,
You're so welcome.
and,
Thank you, Blake.
cheers to you, and we'll catch you
Absolutely.
next time. You have to come back,
Yeah, sounds great.
after we see you, so take
All
care.
right.
Take care.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you.
All right, well, that was an amazing show. Thank you so much to
Yes.
Milo Z.
Oh, what an awesome
Um,
guy.
I mean, incredible. I hope you guys will like and subscribe and make sure you catch his show. It's okay if you don't catch us this week so that you can go and see his show. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I'll just say cheers and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye. Bye.
You've just enjoyed the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour with Blaze and Ken.
Thank you, Milo Z, for bringing us back with Biz Marquee. Back in the kitchen next week, only on the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour.